In our previous video, we discussed Creative's process of developing an SEO strategy. Now we'll be talking about how to efficiently implement your own SEO strategy and what other tricks you can bring along in the journey. Hey guys, welcome to Creative, where we help athletes, sports marketers, and athletic business owners learn how to build those lasting legacies beyond the game. Every Tuesdays and Thursdays, we talk about solutions that can truly change the business of sports. Today, we'll be discussing how to efficiently implement an SEO strategy. We'd love for you to tackle that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss out on anything in the future. In our first video of this two-part series, we explored the process of developing a high-ranking SEO strategy, where we mentioned that developing was only the first of many challenges you need to face as a brand. Now, in today's second video, we'll move on to the next obstacle that you need to worry about: implementation. Let's admit it, in today's time, it's almost impossible to keep up with the changing trends and techniques in the market. There's no guarantees out there. That tactic you use this month, will it still be relevant or effective in the following? That's how fast the rate of change has become in the digital marketing world. And no matter how high ranking your SEO strategy may be, if you don't have implementation tactics that can keep up with the changing times, you'll have difficulty succeeding. What a lot of brands don't realize is that implementation is as crucial as development is. Yes, it's hard to succeed without a well-planned strategy. But if you don't know how to implement it well, all of your hard work will be for nothing. That's why today, we'll show you 5 tactics that you can do to improve your SEO's implementation. We'll take a look at some of the latest trends in SEO and the newest updates on Google's algorithm that can easily make or break your success. So let's talk about how to implement your SEO strategy more efficiently. People think that the hard work ends in the development stage of an SEO strategy, when the truth of the matter is that it's just the start. So here are 5 things that you can do to elevate your implementation. Audit old content. Some brands have the tendency of ignoring existing blog posts whenever a new strategy comes their way, when in fact they should pay extra attention to that old content. Regardless of how many new posts you create, Google's algorithm still takes into account the existing content that you have. And if they're not as good as the new ones that you've been working on, they could easily pull your SEO strategy into a downward spiral. So before you forget anything else, make sure that you check out your old posts and see how they're doing. In our first video, we discussed the importance of conducting a site audit before starting anything else. It gives you a great idea of the health of your website's SEO-wise and provides you with enough insight on what work more needs to be done. Now, just because you use the data your old posts have doesn't mean you should ignore them entirely. The reason why we suggest you go back and audit these posts is to see how you can incorporate new strategies into them. Some people make the mistake of not including their older stuff in the implementation of their new SEO strategy. And sometimes these small mistakes are what cause SEO strategies to fail. Think about intent. When brands start launching content out to the internet, a lot of them make the rookie mistake of not thinking about search intent, or how users frame their queries when using the search engines for what they're searching for. They routinely follow the keywords they want to target and write the content they want without even thinking about whether it fits their users' intentions. The results? They miss a ton of opportunities to reach the right people. When brands don't take search intent seriously when writing content, They either miss their target completely or miss certain segments of their fan base. And at the time wherein competition is intense, it's crucial that SEO campaigns target their whole demo. This means taking a long, hard look at search intent, as well as actively ensuring that it's implemented in every step that you make in your SEO strategy. Is this what your target is searching for? It's hard to keep track of things, especially on a project as large as an SEO campaign. With various working parts to keep in mind, forgetfulness is a common occurrence among strategists. When things start to look up for their business, they start forgetting certain steps in their process and there starts to deteriorate slowly. And like we've mentioned earlier, these small details are what cause your SEO strategies to fail. Back to series 1, you don't want to forget about the user experience. Another important thing that you need to keep in mind is the user experience. In our first video, we discussed the importance of figuring out your website's user flow before you start working on anything else. Because despite all the working parts that SEO has, user experience remains to be a priority among the algorithms. Regardless of how good content is or how fancy the website looks, if end users find it difficult to use, its ranking can easily dip in a matter of days or weeks. The unfortunate thing is, not everyone thinks this way. That's why, as one of Arizona's leading digital marketing companies, we help our clients find value in user experience. So while you implement your new SEO strategy, you need to keep your user flow in mind. As you continue to implement your SEO strategy in the future, you need to remind yourself that user experience is a top priority, regardless of what people say. Make sure to check the responsiveness of your website and see if there's any broken links that need fixed. Just be sure that your website is in its best shape moving forward. Create content clusters. In one of our previous videos, we discussed the importance of having a keyword map, something to guide you on which keywords should be used on which power pages and which blogs, etc. Now, we're going to go ahead and use that to build content clusters. These clusters organize your content and keywords by using different levels of web page hierarchy. Content clusters are especially helpful for improving user intent. See, over the recent years, Google's crawlers have been able to link queries with one another. And when your website has carefully arranged body content, understanding becomes much easier for those crawlers. So as a reward for making their jobs easier, they'll bump your rankings up. You want to take bounce rate seriously. Analytics are included in your website for a reason. It's there because platforms expect you to use the data they've gathered to further improve your ongoing strategies. So it only makes sense that you actually use these metrics. Some brands make the rookie mistake of not taking bounce rates seriously. They continue with their implementation, thinking that bounce rates aren't doing much to their rankings. When the fact of the matter is, Google's crawlers were developed to take them as red flags. This means that whenever they see a site with an alarming number of bounce rates, they're expected to lessen their rankings depending on how bad those rates are. Now, what can you do to prevent your bounce rates from increasing? By taking an audit of your site's health and overall performance. Find out if your bounce rates are caused by low loading speeds or if it has something to do with broken links and even down to the content. Sure, bounce rates won't actually pinpoint what's wrong with your sites, but it notifies you on whether your implementation of your strategies are properly working or not. So to make sure that you don't miss any small mistakes in constantly sharing unuseful content, take your bounce rates seriously. If you think that they're gaining too much traction for your links, then it's time that you do a double take and see what you've done wrong so far. Anyone who has worked in SEO for a few years or even more We'll tell you that there's no single path to succeeding in SEO. Things will change. Algorithms will continue to update, and your SEO strategy will always change in the process. But just because SEO tends to be fickle doesn't mean that there's no way of guaranteeing success. If you stay on your toes and be consistent about how you're implementing your strategy, you'll be able to master SEO in no time. Thankfully, after working with various clients over the years, Creative has made sure to make these implementation strategies part of our overall audit and process. And just in case you need more help figuring out SEO, you can always seek the help of professionals like Creative's team of SEO experts. We hope you guys loved today's video. And if you want to learn more about the great solutions that can change the game, again, don't forget to subscribe and tackle that like button. Now, this is Zach with Creative, where business is our sport.